Yo, what up, Facebook? It's your boy Lover J back again for the Food for Thought Wednesday. The topic of the day is going to be depression. Something I think that needs to be discussed. Give a minute for people to tune in. Glasgow, what up, Glasgow? What up, Kale? Thanks for tuning in. I agree. We gotta talk about it. Music in the back is Miss Nicole. Check out Miss Nicole if you haven't. Great MC. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. Just been chilling, just been working, man. OT every day, 12 hours all day. Shout out to Hector. What up, Hector? Thanks for tuning in. It's Food for Thought. The topic of the day is going to be depression. And the main thing I want to know about depression is, I think depression is something that a lot of people suffer from that doesn't get talked about enough. Just chilling, man. It's all good. Thanks for tuning in. Because when you think about depression, that's like the elephant in the room. It's like, a lot of people may feel depressed. I've been depressed before in my life, and it's not a fun thing, and it's not something that people on the outside could easily detect to really help in a situation. And you look at, people, most recently, dude from Lincoln Park, the alleged suicide, took his life. He was battling with depression. I think back, who else? Robin Williams dealing with depression. There's been a lot of great people that we've lost due to depression. Yes, sir. Rest in peace, Chester. So my question is, how do we deal with depression? What are ways that we can overcome feeling like nothing is important? Feeling like that what we do is not worth anything and there's no point. Because in my experience with depression, that's what it feels like. And it's easy to tell somebody, oh, well, just go out and start doing things you like, or, go out there and, try out new things, or, try to, it's easy to say that to somebody. But a person that is depressed, you gotta understand they don't have a desire to do anything. It's a struggle for them to even get out of bed, sometimes, to even eat, to drink, to feed themselves, to take care of themselves. It's a struggle to do that when you have that feeling. And I've talked about this before in other videos. I said your mental health is very important. And, I'm not an expert on depression. I'm not, a psychologist or anything of the sort. I'm just speaking on my experience that I have and the knowledge I have from others that I have seen that gone through this. That's what I know. I was like, how do you guys deal with this? Who has been depressed, and how did you deal with your depression? For me, there was a good stretch of time where all I did was work, and I did nothing else. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't, I didn't do any music. I was just like work. I kind of just wrapped myself up in my work, and I didn't have a desire to do anything. And I don't know. It just kind of, after that, I just kind of felt like, well, when I started doing that, at first I felt like, I was trying to work, and, I was so excited about doing something with my music and everything. And then, I kind of lost focus with myself when I found out, what this music business really was and what it was kind of turning into. And I felt like it was just losing its art form as far as hip hop goes for a while. And like, I just, kind of shut it down. Like, I didn't know what to do after that. And I was kind of just lost. So, yeah, it was like a year or 2 years that I was just working overtime, and that was it. Work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, go back to work, and that was my life. I didn't do anything else. And, I was really upset with myself when I came to realization afterwards that, I wasted this whole time working. But it's just that state, that mind state that I was in, that made me feel like I wasn't worth anything, or nothing was really important, or, just life itself was like just worthless, like was pointless. Like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I doing here? Like, anybody even care? You know what I mean? You get in that headspace, and it's hard to come out of, especially if you don't have, people around you that know you well, that you can really be there for you and look out for you. And even if you do, it's hard for them to know, because it's easy for somebody to put on a false front and pretend like everything is okay when inside they're really hurting. So it's a hard thing to detect. I think that I think we should maybe look more into seeking mental therapy. Like, we sit down and just talk to somebody about it, because I think you do need to really get those feelings out. I don't think it's okay for you to keep them in. I think that's when it festers and it builds up, when you don't have somebody that you can discuss it with, or you seek help for yourself to discuss it with somebody. And that's a hard thing to do too, because in our society, we don't really it's not something that we look upon as like something you're supposed to do as far as taking care of yourself. Nobody is really promoting you to go, oh, you need to go talk to, a therapist about your problems. Like, no, we're pretty closed up when it comes to our emotions, and everybody just tell you, oh, just suck it up and just deal with it, get through it. Life, that's how life is, you gotta just get through it, but I think we should not just put that off like it's that simple. Kat, thank you, Kat, for your comment. She said there's so many physical and mental things that go on with you when you're depressed. Also, to figure out why you even are to begin with, why you're even depressed to begin with. You got to do some soul searching to figure it out. I think that's what she's saying there. But it could be so many things that it could be. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. It could be multiple things that are going on. Glasgow says, I used to use drugs, but I found that only killed my self-esteem and hurt my health. I now write poetry and music and play my guitar, and of course smoke the good green to lift my mood. And that's good. I'm glad you got off of the drugs, because I think that only leads to worse depression, and I have that experience just with watching my mom and the things that she's done, and just never having that ability to find happiness. Speaking of my mom, hello Mom, thanks for tuning in. We're talking about depression, guys. How do you guys deal with your depression? How do you seek help? What do you do? And like Glasgow said, I think, that's kind of what I do with my music and everything. That's my outlet. I think everybody needs an outlet to have to kind of deal with the everyday struggles that we face, every day. And you got to understand that, people's struggles are different, and everybody is affected differently by certain things. What might not affect you may be devastating to somebody else. Okay. So I don't think we should ever minimize somebody's feelings. Like you can't control how you feel. You know what I mean? That's a feeling is a feeling. You don't decide how you feel. If we just decided how we feel, we would just, I'm not going to be depressed anymore. That's not how it works. You got to deal with your feelings and how you're feeling. Thank you, Cheyenne, for tuning in. Shout out to Cheyenne. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thanks for watching. We're talking about depression. I want to know how do you deal with depression, and how do you help somebody that is going through depression? How do you do that? Glasgow says, I deal with my anxiety, depression almost daily. It's a mindset, and every mindset can be changed or persuaded, so to speak. Well, how do you change your mindset, Glasgow? That's my question for the people out there that are struggling. How do you change your mindset from being depressed and feeling like, you can't do anything, or, nothing is worth anything, to finding the worth in life? How do you go about that change? Thanks, Hannah, for tuning in. Yes, Kat, I think it's important that you talk about it and get those feelings out, because the thing is, you can't just hold in feelings. When you hold in feelings, whether it's sadness, depression, and anxiety, anger, it builds up. It doesn't go away. It just builds up. So you have to find a way. You have to vent. You have to get those things out. It's not good for you to bottle up those things. I think that makes it worse. Again, I'm not an expert, but that's what I feel. And Larice says, my depression almost killed me. When I first started to feel guilty about something against my moral code was when my depression began. So I began to cover my pain with drugs. Thank you for sharing. And that's my mom's right there, so I can testify to that. And I'm gonna talk about your mom. I hope you don't mind, but I think it's important for people to know. This is for the people, okay? Because I seen my mom. I'm a little kid, and I'm watching my mom, and I seen her. She was he had a good life. She was a nurse. She was taking care of business. She had a house. She had a good relationship. All that stuff. And I saw what happened when with all the drugs and everything, her life kind of both of our lives kind of just went out of control, spun out of control. And I don't know how you feel about it, Mom, but I think if you had a better way to deal with that, or somebody to talk to besides turning to drugs, I think it would have been helpful. And she says, drugs cause more pain, and then I began to feel that I was a drug addict because I used drugs to mask my depression. I accepted the label addict and still dealing with my depression. Addiction is a side effect of depression. Thank you for sharing. I hope y'all got that. So this is coming from somebody who has been through that struggle. So there's two people that have said that they tried to turn to drugs to cure the depression, and it only made it worse. So, like I said, drugs only cover up the problem, but the problem will still remain. After that high is gone and it comes back down, you're still going to have those feelings that you have to deal with. She says, so therefore addiction is not a disease, it is a side effect of depression. I started acting like an addict because therapists said I was an addict. Well, that's unfortunate. I think that, the therapists should be better trained to handle those situations and to dig deeper into the issue, because I don't think that's fair to just write it off like that. I saw an angry face. I hope I didn't offend somebody. I didn't mean to offend you. We just talking. If I say something to offend you, I apologize. I'm trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn like y'all. I want to learn, and I want to help other people. So this is why I think it's important to talk about these things. That's why we do the food for thought. To share information that may be helpful to somebody else that's going through the same problem. Kat said, I quit drinking almost 2 weeks ago because I was going really hard for a few years. Now that I'm sober and feeling all these emotions because of the sobriety, and it's been hard, but I'm taking it one day at a time. I send my prayers out to you, Kat. I hope you continue to stay sober and continue to grow as an individual and strengthen in your emotions, and that you can deal with things accordingly. Shout out to Mike C. What's up, Mike C? Thanks for tuning in. Oh, Glasgow got the response. He said, being around. So I asked him, how do you? What was the question? I asked, how do you change your mind state from being depressed to, to being happy and changing things and starting to do things that you like to do? This is his response. He says, being around good-hearted people, finding the beauty in even the little things, talking about it to your friends and family. My brother hung himself. I'm sorry to hear that, man. And it still eats me, but I know it was the drugs he took that caused him to make those decisions. We need to realize life is only temporary. If we can truly see that, then we might start living each day to the fullest extent. It's baby steps. Talking about it is the first step to save another person's life. Thank you for your response, Glasgow. I appreciate you. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff we needed to hear. I hope y'all heard that and y'all read that. I'm sorry for your loss with your brother. I can only imagine what that would feel like. I have never lost anybody in my life. Come close. But thank you, Glasgow, for your response. I appreciate you. We're going to send prayers out to you that you continue to prosper in your struggle against depression and anxiety. But again, like he said, the drugs he was taking caused him to make the decisions he made. So again, I think the drugs are what is preventing us from dealing with our feelings, and it just hides them. So we got two people saying surrounding yourself with good people. Larice says she agrees, surrounding myself with good people helps. Shaw says she's never met anyone who is an addict that wasn't depressed. So those watching, if you're feeling depressed, please try not to turn to drugs as the solution or alcohol as the solution. And it can even be other things too, like, maybe it's sex. Maybe, it's video games, you're excessively doing these things. Maybe it's something else. You have to deal with those feelings. You are feeling that way for a reason, and it's okay to feel like that. I think that we shame people for feeling, upset or angry or mad or sad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. And it's okay to talk about those things. Find somebody that you are close to, or that or that that's really going to listen to you, that's there for you, for your benefit, that cares about you. And talk to them. Tell them how you're feeling. Get those feelings out. Express that. Don't try not to hold it in, because holding it in is only going to make it worse. It's not going to go away. Kat says keeping busy and exercising has helped. That's good. I'm glad. Everybody got to find an outlet. So just keeping yourself busy, keeping your mind occupied. You can exercise. All that stuff. Thank you, Matt, for tuning in. We talking about depression for this food for thought. We having a pretty good conversation, just trying to get it out there that it's okay to express your feelings. Top Shelf OG, thanks for tuning in, man. It says you got to express yourself. Yes, indeed. However you express yourself, you can exercise. That's a good way to relieve stress and get your emotions out. You can draw, you can write. I said playing video games you can become addicted to, but playing video games is also a good way that you can deal with, things that you're feeling. I turn to video games lots of times. I used to play video games. That would help me, calm down and relieve stress and all that stuff, So we got another comment. Let me see. I'm trying to keep up with the comments today. Larry says, I had to experience a 3-month coma before I felt like I had suffered enough to finally live my life. Almost dying, and the following physical rehabilitation made me feel like paid for going against my moral code in the first place. Feel like paid. So that's what made you feel like she finally paid off that debt that she had for herself for violating her own ethics, her own moral code. And that was a crazy time because, you guys don't know this, but my mom was in a coma for 3 months. Okay. When she went into this coma, there was a chance. 3 months is a long time to be in a coma in the hospital. The doctors did not want her to stay on the life support. They wanted to take her off several times. But I ultimately had the decision to make, to decide whether or not they were going to take her off. And I felt that I just had a feeling that she was going to come out of it. So I told them to keep her on, for longer. And I just was prayed. And I just felt like that she whatever she was going through, she was going to come out of it. And I feel blessed that she did. And I thank God that my mom now, she's been sober. She's been going to school, taking care of business, doing what it is she likes to do and living her life. So I'm happy that you are doing better, Mom, after all these years. All right. Glasgow says, I agree. Exercise as well as healthy lifestyle are huge to conquering demons and depression as well. So there's another one for exercise, staying healthy, making sure you're eating right, taking care of yourself. I think you gotta be more aware of what your body needs. Treat your body like a temple. Show yourself some respect, and you take care of yourself. You're gonna only put good things into your body. You're gonna exercise, take care of your body. That's a good thing to do. Top Shelf OG, he says, I deal with my depression through smoking weed and talking to people. Another good way to deal with it. And like I said, we talked about surrounding yourself with good people, being able to have somebody to talk to about that. Thank you, sir. Yep, my mom 5 years sober now. Good job. I'll give it up for my mom, 5 years sober. It was a long road, I'll tell you that. We ain't gonna get into it, but she came a long way. She's come a long way. And again, she says if she had somebody to really talk to, all that could have been avoided. So I'm hearing a lot for being able to talk to somebody. Having somebody there to talk to. Surrounding yourself with those positive people that are trying to lift you up. Okay? They want to see you succeed. They want to see you successful. That's the kind of people you need to be around. You need to be around that positive energy. Okay? Don't be scared to cut people off. You may have known somebody your whole life, but they may not be having your best interests in mind. So it's okay to cut people off. You know, you ain't got to deal with that negative energy. You see someone negative in your life? Okay, look here. If you're going to continue to be like this, we can't hang out no more, or we can't talk. And it can be family members too. We going to deal with negativity? Nope, we're not having that. So you got to go. He's like, you got to say to yourself, I appreciate myself more than to just let you continue to keep me in this space. You trying to come up and people trying to put you down. You got to cut people off. You know, it's not cold-blooded. You know, you're just being respectful of yourself. Like, this is the reason why you are a negative person. You are not helping me to better my life in any way. So, you know, we just not going to talk anymore. I ain't going to be able to do it. Tell them that. And that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. Get them positive people in your life. Get some of that positive energy. Glasgow says 2.5 years sober for me, off meth and cocaine. Amen. Shout out to you. I'm glad you got off of that, sir. Because that's some dangerous, those are dangerous hardcore drugs right there. I'm glad you got off of that. And it's hard to do. So God bless you, brother. Mike C says stay positive helps, helping others, genuinely connecting with others. It's all ways that you can help deal with your depression. So helping others, connecting with others. And I think that's what I try to do now. You guys got to understand, like, for a long time, I'm like a recluse, man. I don't really like to be surrounded by lots of people. I keep a very small circle. And I'm trying to change that because I don't want to just always be, you know, in my little cave on myself, you know. So that's another reason why the internet's awesome, because I get to connect with all you people and we can talk and have discussions. And yeah, I'm just working on trying to reach out to more people, trying to spend more time with the people that I care about that used to be down with me for a long time. So got to get back into that. He said, Glasgow said he just moved away from it. He moved and went into the desert. Got away from it. Good job. That takes a lot of courage, man. So you guys got to understand that it's okay too to transition. If you guys need to move away, get a change of scenery, switch it up. You don't have to be stuck where you are. You can move. You can start over somewhere else. Don't be afraid to do that. You have that ability, and you can make it somewhere. It's not hard. You do the same thing you're doing now. You find a job, you go move somewhere, you find a job. There's always going to be a job. There's always going to be places you can work. There's always going to be ways you can make money. So yeah, Mike C says it doesn't have to be a small circle, just the right one. So yeah, just get around those positive people. Surround yourself with positive people, positive energy, and cut off those people that are negative or holding you back, or that you're not really comfortable around you. They're making you feel a certain way. Okay, you got to go. That's it. Only you can decide that. Nobody else can tell you that. You know how you feel. Pay attention to how you feel and act accordingly. Yeah, so anybody have anything else to say about depression? I think we had a good talk today. I appreciate everybody in their comments and sharing their stories. There's a lot of personal stories involved in this, but I think it's important. Larice says your vibe attracts your tribe. I like that. Yeah, so however you want to be, be that. If you're a positive person, you're trying to change things, and you're trying to, whatever it is you're trying to do in your life, do what you do. And those people that you're gonna be on that frequency. Everybody on that frequency, they're gonna be attracted to you. They're gonna come to you, and then you'll start meeting those people, and then you'll grow from that. Yeah. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add to the conversation? It's food for thought. We're talking about depression. We've shared a lot of stories. A lot of personal things happen right now. And I appreciate all of that. This is definitely going to help some people, I think. Glasgow said, put that line in a song. Oh, definitely. Mom, I'm about to take that. My mom dropping bars in here. Yeah, but I got this new album I'm working on. It got a lot of personal things in there that I'm gonna discuss, and it's kind of my way to vent. The new project is coming out. It's called Stretch Marks. That's the name of the album. Stretch Marks is coming out. The thought of the name, people are asking me why stretch marks? Well, stretch marks, you got to think about stretch marks as something you get when you grow. So this is my growth as an artist. So there's the stretch marks there from that. And also, I just wanted to put a positive spin on what stretch marks are, because a lot of times we want to cover up our stretch marks, or we're ashamed of them, or our scars, but really that shows what we've been through. That shows our experience. That shows where we've came from, how we've grown as a person. So I don't think we should be ashamed of it. You think of a woman, and when she's pregnant, when she gives birth, there's going to be stretch marks. Okay, that's a symbol of life that was given. Okay, so stretch marks, be on the lookout for it. Also got a mixtape, Growth Spurt, is coming out. So you go through the growth spurt to get the stretch marks. Okay, that's what's happening. That's what I'm working on right now. Just had to throw that out there. But I want to thanking everybody for tuning in and being part of the conversation. This is exactly how I want the food for thoughts to be. We all get in here, we all talk about something, and hopefully everybody took away something from it, and we can learn from each other and just grow. All right, shout out to everybody. I'm about to get on out of here. God bless. Everybody take care. And remember, the most important things dealing with depression, surround yourself with good people. Find somebody that you can talk to about it. Just try to stay away from drugs. Don't drown yourself out with that. Find something that you like to do. Exercise, do art, poetry. Those things all helpful to deal with that. But this has been Food for Thought. It's your boy Lover J signing off. Peace, love, and God bless.